What's up? What's good? What it do? Welcome everybody back to another episode of Just Jivin here with your host Tarek. And this is the second episode I'm recording today because the Holy Ghost is just fucking taking hold of me. Like I am feeling it today for some reason. I don't know why, but right now I want to talk about creativity. And I looked it up because I was curious because I had my own definition of it, which is doing creative shit. Okay, Terry, that's not a definition. You're right. I'm sorry. But I looked it up and Google says that creativity is the use of imagination or original ideas. I fuck with that definition. I keep on hearing people say, "Oh, I'm not creative. I can't be creative." And while yes, it does have a heavy association with art and the creative arts, it's not limited to just that. And that's the thing that I try to portray to everyone is that you absolutely have the opportunity to be creative in any circumstance. Shit, like anything, creativity is just a muscle, and if flexed, if worked over time, the muscle becomes stronger. Granted, but you have to start somewhere. Creativity isn't just limited to the arts. If you want to build a birdhouse, you can fucking do that. If you not even okay, let's take hobbies out of the equation. If you can look at a situation in your life and go about it in a way that's unique, maybe for you, then that's creativity in and of itself. If you have a situation that you're faced with and you don't know how to go about progressing through it, I suppose, whatever you come up with is a creative solution. And yes, that's reaching. But I really want people to start thinking about this shit differently because creativity isn't just something for artists. It's something for everyone. And everyone has the ability to be creative. I just get tired of hearing people say that they can't be creative just because they don't know how to draw or fucking play music, write a song, whatever, some poetry. Yes, that shit matters. I don't want to say none of that shit matters. That shit's cool. Creativity is so important. I'll touch on that later if I remember. Just because you can't write a song doesn't mean that you can't develop your creativity. Maybe it's in your personality and your delivery. Maybe it's how you present yourself. Maybe it's how you go about making friends and acquaintances. There's so many ways. There's so many ways to be creative. I want more creativity in the world. I need that as someone who likes to create shit. Like, okay, one thing I like to create, and this is going to sound weird. Bear with me, folks. Should I call y'all folks, by the way? My restaurant side is coming out real hard. Hey, folks, how are you doing? Welcome to insert restaurant here. Nah, but for real, one thing I like to create is atmosphere. Does that make sense? Okay. I told you, this is going to sound weird. Bear with me. I love hosting dinner parties. If I know I have some cool people coming over, I will wake up at 3:30 in the morning and start cooking food, bro. Oh, from scratch. From the bread. If I'm making sauce I'm making courses. I'm making appetizers. Main course, I'm making snacks, I'm making dessert, bro. I'm pairing it with good beer and alcohol. I clean the entire crib. Like it's honestly about a week's process for me to throw a dinner party, and I love doing it. I just don't do it anymore because I don't even want to talk about it. That was a bad night. But regardless, that's one thing I like to create. And in order to do that, you need to examine the entire house, the layout, where you're gonna put the music, how you're gonna lay out the furniture, what dishware you're gonna use. Bro, I really like going in, honestly. From the playlist to the meal, and you wouldn't think that that's something you can be creative with. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm inviting people over, whatever, dinner party type shit. Cool, yeah, we can all have fun, but I really like to go in. And that's something that for me personally, I have decided to get more creative with. And depending on who I invite, that determines the playlist, possibly the food, and just how I go about vibing with the entire cast of the evening. And I really fucking enjoy that. That's not something that I ever thought that I would be creative about, but I am. Which goes to show you that you can be creative in anything at all. And that's the point that I'm trying to get at, is that you can be creative in whatever you want to, pretty much anything you want to get better at, you can get creative with. The better you understand something, the more creative you can get with it. And that also goes for relationships and human interaction. The more you understand humans, society, who you're dealing with, the more creative you can get with that interaction. Nah, this is not for real. For real, it might sound like I'm reaching, but honestly, creativity in itself is vital for us. I really believe this. It's vital for our survival. For real. If you have the ability to use your imagination, you're creative. If you can come up with something that, original, quote unquote, isn't something that, and now in this day and age, it's really hard to come by. But you can definitely come up with your own take on shit, which it would be, qualified as something original. But I digress. If you have the ability to use your imagination, you can be creative. All you need to do is start flexing that in different ways. The more creative people that we have in the world, the better the world will be. I truly believe so. The more that people are able and allowed to flex their creativity. And that doesn't, just because we have a better world does not exclude the shitty things that will inevitably happen to us. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't strive for something better. And the only way to do that is to figure out how to think outside of what we've been doing. We have to think of something different in order to progress. Evolution is not necessarily an entire deviation from the norm. Even a mutation has to base itself on the DNA that it has to work with. You feel me? Science people, if that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. I feel like that does kind of make sense though. You can't deviate from the main shit that much without first knowing it and understanding it and all that jazz. So in the same way, we can't evolve as a society if we can't think outside the box. And we need more people to be able to do that. You can have creativity in leadership, understanding how to lead people to do something better for themselves, for the community, for their families, all that jazz. You can have creativity in that. There's so many ways that this can be applied. I really believe so. And it shouldn't be something that is left just for people that know how to compose a picture or a film or music score or an art piece or dance, whatever. It's for everyone. Do you really think that, and again, I don't know nothing about science and shit, but you really think that Einstein would have been able to come up with the whole fucking relativity theory thing if he wasn't creative? Something in his brain was like, wait a minute, could possibly blah 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 mean maybe? And he just fucking went with it. And that's creativity right there, son. It's like, wait a goddamn second. Could I possibly do this with that and have this outcome? You know what I'm saying? there is so much. I know it. I know that we have the potential to increase the creativity, productivity. Yeah. We have an opportunity to increase the creativity, productivity of society. Oh gosh, I'm on time. Oh boy. Yeah, you know what? This will have to be put into a part 2. Part 2 coming up whenever. Thank you for listening. What's good, everybody? First off, I want to say thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Y'all are a big reason why I do what I do. If you like what you hear, then be sure to tune in every Thursday for another episode of Just Jivin.